Okay, hello and welcome. It's Rick Baxter with Cost Control Software. I'd like to welcome you to this session, this demonstration session on Netronic Visual Production Scheduler. This should be I'm going to make this a fairly in-depth, almost to a point of a training session to show you as much as I possibly can about this absolutely phenomenal product. I think you're going to really like what I show you today. Again, my name is Rick Baxter. Company is Cost Control Software, coming to you out of Carmel, Indiana, just north of Indianapolis. Hey, and just so you know a little bit about me, I've been doing NAV software. Now it's Business Central software. Before that, it was Navision, and then before that, it was even Avista. So I'm well into 20 years with this product, and looking forward to showing you the uh, the addition of adding some Gantt chart scheduling to your Microsoft Dynamics, hopefully 365 Business Central edition of software as well. Okay, so that's enough about myself, and that is my email address up there, just in case you do want to contact me as well. We're going to take a look at the project manufacturing diagram first, kind of get you oriented to where the Netronic fits into the overall scope and the overall scheme of manufacturing. So let me bring that diagram up here on screen first. Here we go. No, not that one. Where did he go? Hold on. Okay, here we go. So, and some of you that have been following me and some of my presentations in the past may have seen this diagram. I call it project manufacturing. It's really designed for make to order, engineer to order, and assemble to order type manufacturers. It combines both our job manager and manufacturing products. I'm going to focus on the lower part of the window today. I'm not going to get into the project side of it. I really want you to understand the production order and how we can schedule those production orders. That's what this is going to be all about. So think in terms of your release production orders and being able to see them visually in a production schedule, some type of Gantt chart view. Here's a small image of it in this picture, this diagram, that we will want to show that relationship between your release production orders and actually even your firm plan production orders with the visual production scheduler, and be able, and you'll notice the arrows here are double arrows, so it means it can be sent from production orders to the scheduling board and from the scheduling board back to your release production orders. We want that two-way integration to be going on there. So and production orders, don't forget the mission of a production order is to produce inventory. We want to get inventory into our physical quantity on hand inventory so that it can either be used on a project, can be consumed on a project, or of course you can always just ship and invoice the inventory to the customer as well. But we're going to focus here on these released orders. We will take a peek at the bill of materials and of course the routing. That's a very important part of these production orders, and how the visual production scheduler picks that up. So this is the portion of the software that I'm going to be focused on here today. All right, let me move this out of the way. We'll go back to our study guide. By the way, if you want a copy of this list, because I am going to go through some of the key benefits of the software, and if you want a copy of this document, just let us know and we'll be glad to send it to you. So I tend to do my demos as a results and benefits type of demonstration. So I want to be sure you understand the benefits that you'll get from purchasing and using this software. I mean, I assume that's why you're going to look at this video, is because you are interested in purchasing some type of visual production scheduling software for your Dynamics NAV system. Okay, so let's get started, and the first thing I'm going to show you is what I would call probably the most obvious benefit of all, which is benefit number one, is to view your production orders in a Gantt chart. So let's go there first. Let me park this out of the way for just a minute. Well, I've got the production orders, so I've got a large list here of production orders in my system. I've got, what, 30, how many did I have? 31 production orders, 9 firm planned, 23 simulated. So I've got a bunch of production orders in here. Years will be different. This is just some of the sample data that I've got here. But to be able to see them instead of in a list view like this, you want to see them in a Gantt chart view. So, and we'll come back to that list in a minute, but I've added the visual production scheduler right here on the menu. So I just click it here and it brings up now my schedule. So here is your first time to kind of see. Let me go to the Actions tab. This is the look and feel of the Gantt chart view from Netronic. I think you're going to like this. So let me just give you a little orientation to the screen so you know what you're looking at. Across the top are your dates, and as I use the wheel on the mouse, I can scroll in even down to an hour by hour view, or I can scroll out and I can see it just week by week. Just depends how you like to kind of look at the data. You can use your mouse and grab that timeline and move it right and left so that you can go to any period of time. Notice this dark line here, that's the work date. So that's the current work date of the system. Down the left side in the first view here is our firm planned orders. And if I scroll this down a little bit, you'll see we also have our released production orders. They're in brown and the firm plans are in blue. So let's just go on down a little bit further here. And the orders, it's got the order and the line number as well. So some of these have a single line, some of them have multiple lines. That's going to come into play here in a little bit as we go further into the software. Another part of the software is the histogram kind of view down here so that you can see the loads, and if there are any overloads, you'll get some indicators there. You see them in red as well. We'll cover that a little bit later on. Okay, so that's what I would call your first kind of view of the system as far as seeing it as a Gantt chart view. So I wanted to describe the general layout of, and I would say that's fairly typical of most any Gantt chart view. Okay, it's got dates across the top, and then, oh, and the operations. I guess I didn't say that. Let me go back here just a second. Each of these indicators here, see that 10, 20, 30, those are the operations. Okay, those are the operations of this production order. In fact, if I open this up, you can see it starts with 10, that goes to 20. Let me bring in the link lines. 10, 20, 30, 40. So those are the operations of the router. So the router for this production order is shown very clearly here. And in fact, if I probably would like to sort that by operation number, so I just right click on it, and now they're kind of in a more of a waterfall view of the operations as they are occurring. Again, all this data is coming from NAV, and I'm going to show you in a minute that relationship between those two. Okay, so that's benefit number 1 out of I think I've got about 10 different key things that I'm going to show you here. Okay, benefit number 2 is the ability to visually adjust your production plan with a very simple drag and drop. Easy to do, okay? And we'll talk a little bit about where these adjustments go. And you are in a what if mode. So I want you to understand that you're in what if until you hit the save button. So until you hit save, all of this is kind of what if. You can undo things and move it around. So this is, let's just take a look at this concept about the drag and drop, because everybody wants to be sure their software is a drag and drop kind of capability. When I hover over any one of the operations of the router, so this operation 10, operation 20, you can see it there in the little pop-up diagram. That's the chain assembly. Shows the start and end time, the status, the production order, all the information is right there. And so if I want to move this, I simply hold down with the mouse and then I can drag. This is the concept of drag and drop. Let's move it out here. Drag and release. And now it moves those operations forward. Now, notice you've got a red hash line here on these things. That's because here's the due date. So 221 on this production order, I'm sorry, 222 of 19 is the due date of this production order. So because it's moved past those dates, they've turned red. Now if I bring it back, let's see if we can bring it back in time. There you see there's no problem. So maybe if I just moved it 1 day ahead, I'm still okay, or maybe 2 days, only the last one gets into trouble down here. So it's giving you this alert right away. That's the thing I like also about this software is I want good alerts to tell me that, ooh, there's going to be a problem there and I may need to do some adjustments with my production order. That's the simple, very simple drag and drop. Let's get rid of that alert. Okay. So there's the layout, and I'll do some more with the drag and drops because I just moved it on the timeline, but you might also want to be able to move it from resource to resource. In other words, instead of machine number 2, we're going to put it on machine number 3, and we want to be able to make those kind of moves as well. Okay, let's go back to our study guide, and that is the concept of a drag and drop. Okay, now that has not been saved. Those changes did not get saved back to my Dynamics NAV and Business Central software. It is only here in the kind of temporary view. But this does lead to benefit number 3, which is to update the dates. In other words, I want to update my Business Central, my nav, whatever version you have, and this does work on many different versions of NAV, so just be aware of that. And if you have any question about the version, just give us a call. We'll be glad to discuss that with you. So benefit 3 is we want to be able to update the dates. So the scheduler can easily update the dates in your Business Central without touching a production order. So you don't have to go back to a production order. This is a big benefit. And change all these dates that I've just changed here on the schedule board. I want those to be kind of saved there automatically, okay, when I press the save button. So you use the save data, so it's right here, save data option. Let me show you where that is in the software. So I made this change, I moved this a little bit, and notice these have got red boxes around them. That's an indication that there's been a change to these operations. I hope you can see those red boxes around each of these operations. And now I want to save it back to the system. So up on the ribbon, so this is the ribbon, and all this comes with the software, by the way. So this is the ribbon to reload and save data. So let's just focus on the save data. So watch if I press that. It says, do you want to save the changes made in the production schedule? Yes, we do. And so the schedule has been saved successfully. So now if I went back to this production order, 10-10-19, and look to see if this was on the first operation here, this would be line number 100. Fine, let's just do this. 10-10 now starting on the 19th. I can just double click it and boom, it opens it right up. Here's line 10,000, and let's look at the routing, and there it is, the 19th. So it is automatically updated these dates for me with that save function. So very easy to, and again, did not have to go into the production order to make the change. That's the real key benefit there. Okay, so I think you're catching on how this works. Second thing is benefit number, it's not the second thing, it's the fourth thing. Benefit number 4 is to reload the data. So any changes on the production order card are available to the schedule with a simple reload data command. And a perfect example of this is you're running MRP, you're running some of the processes, you're adding production orders, new production orders coming in, and we want to pull a fresh set of data for our planning board. Okay, so all we have to do here is every morning we pull in all the new production orders, and that's done with, let me move this out of the way so you can see it. This choice, can you see this right over here? Reload data. So I just click on that. I didn't put a new production order in, but you get the idea. So if there had been new production orders put in your just the normal process, because normally the scheduler's not the guy or the girl that's adding production orders. Somebody else is doing those new production orders. But we want to be able to pull them into our list so that along with all these other production orders, we have all of our new ones have been added. So the next one down here at the bottom would be probably 1049, something like that, as far as the new orders. Okay, you getting the idea? I hope you're following along okay. And again, if you have questions on anything that I'm showing you, I want you to feel free. Just pick up the phone, call my phone. My phone's right here on the desk. Be glad to talk to you about this. Okay, benefit 4 was that instant, and that's that connectivity between your production orders and the the scheduling board, bi-directional. Okay, big plus here. Okay, number 5. Benefit number 5 is multiple views. You have multiple views of all this scheduling data. There's 3 views. There's the production order view, there is the capacities view, which is the resources that you have, and then there's the load view. So I want to show you a peek at each one of these. We won't take you into every one of them, but it's almost so obvious that hopefully I'm right now on the production order view. So these are the 3 views that I just mentioned. And I think you should be able to understand this without even thinking about it. It's like, well, yeah, that's that's my production orders, and I love the ability to just open it up and see the operations within in any one of these. So it's just it's just kind of a click, and then there they are. There's the operations. So easy to understand. That's the production order view. The capacities view kind of turns it on its side, and now I'm seeing it by all of the work centers, machine centers. So this is work centers, machine centers on the floor, and what work is assigned to each one of them. So it just lets me see the load per machine and the kind of see in the timeline for I'm doing this. Then so for Mike, and he's on machine 110, it just shows very clearly the operations that are being sequenced. And of course, we can get some reporting on those. You can get an easy report out of your nav software of kind of, I think you call it a task list of what's in the queue for each machine center. I think it's called a task list. Okay, so that's the work center, machine center, and the third one is loads. So this one is again a nice one. This is our loads at each of the different work centers. So it lays them out, shows the timeline again, and then if you see these red indicators here, by the way, this is how many the capacity, typically in hours or shifts or however you set up your capacities, is going to show. But this shows I've got an overload here on Linda Mitchell's work center, and then also on the 6. Looks like there's a little bit of a problem here, so you may want to delve into that in a little more detail. So it's just basically lets you see a big picture where you have some overload situations. Again, the work date column, and then these are the dates going forward. My sample data, by the way, I'm set up for February 1st, 2019. This is when I'm kind of got my work date set for the sample data. Okay, so those are the different loads. Let me go back to that production order view. I think this is the one that most of you will use on a regular basis to see the workload out on the shop floor. Okay, let's go back to our study guide. Where are you here? Okay, that's the multiple views. So benefit number 6 out of 10. is the setup options. Okay, you define the move links in setup. Now when I moved that operation, everything moved with it. But if you want to have a little more control, okay, and be able to move precisely a given operation and not move the others, you may want to adjust the link commands in the setup so that you can actually do that. Let me give you a quick example here. So let's just open some of these up. All right, so when I do the move, so let's pick a different one here. I'm going to pick one of these. Yeah, this is a good one. Okay. All right. So remember before, when I moved this one, it kind of moved all the other ones. Let me just turn on the link lines. There we go. And you can see how they all stayed together. Now, it could be that you don't want those. You want to be able to move things independently. Okay. If that is the case in your business, then in the setup here, the auto schedule with 0 buffer time, which is the way I've got it currently set, is you can turn on or turn off the links about the predecessors and successors. If you have those both off, then what it's going to do is it will make the data basically, so I could take this one and say, well, I'm going to move it down here, and it's going to leave the other operations back there. So it makes them independent, okay, instead of having dependencies from one to the other. Your call, okay, depends on the nature of your business, whether you need to be able to move these in sequence or not. And you can always set it back. You can turn those on, and you could have it just so the successors or just the predecessors are linked together. I normally have it all hooked up like that. Okay. So that way when I make a move here, it pulls or it pushes depending on which way you need to make the adjustment. Okay, so I wanted to show you that little functionality. And number 7 here is user-defined sorts. I think this is pretty interesting and actually quite helpful for you. And I think I showed you a peek at this already. But this sorting by number or by due date. And I kind of recommend the due dates in some of these as well as by operation number. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So right here, I've got these, I think I've got this set. If I sort by and this is by line number. Let me come down to these. Sort by operation number. See, this is operation number. If you want to see it by just number or alphanumeric, so then it's by number. But I like to see them sorted by operation number. So then they go kind of waterfall. And I do the same thing, that waterfall, on the production orders as well. Right now the production orders are showing pretty much in here just by number. But if you come up here to the top, sort by, not by status, I want it down here, sort by production order due date, right here, watch how it changes. So now you can see your due dates. That's what these triangles are, or triangles, rectangles, kind of on the side, rectangle, diamonds. Those are called diamonds, sorry. This is, you can see that if I move the timeline, you can see these things are moving forward in time, and it lets you, quite frankly, focus on the production orders that are coming up on due dates. So you can see very quickly, not by number, but by due date, what orders are about to be need to be shipped. In fact, here's again alerts that we've passed this the due date on this production order. So it lets you kind of see visually when you have this sorted by due date. And you simply right click here and sort by and say due date, and it'll hold that look and feel for you as you go through. Okay, so that's very, very helpful. I encourage you to, as you use the software as well, for those of you that are using the software, do set those by due date. Okay, number 8 is a quick access to the production order with just a double click, and the same for work centers and machine centers. Let me show you that if you didn't notice that earlier, that at any time if you want to say, oh, I need to check this production order out, you can just click here and double click the number, and it takes you right to that 101026, which is this overmolded ECP plug, and it'll show you the expected cost, the actual cost. Not much on this one yet. You can click into the routing, you can escape and come back, you can click into the components. There are none on that one, but you get the concept of being able to view and drill down, and you can do the same here on the task itself. So you can just click on that operation and it takes you right to the production order, and you can jump into the router again. What I have noticed with this software is the really nice relationship between the starting dates and ending dates that are shown within your nav software and the planning board. This one is 1.8. I just happened to notice this is 1.8 operation 10. Let's go back. Go back. Go back. And I just know this is going to be in the 8. See? Look, 1.8. So it's just it's almost uncanny how these are all driven. So all the data, maybe it's not uncanny, that's how it should work. All the data here is driven by the data within your Dynamics NAV or Business Central application. It's all tied together. Okay. Okay, a little more for you here. Bear with me. I've got just a couple more things to show you. Okay, move work to a different resource. So in the capacity view, you can do a drag and drop to a different resource, which would be a different work center or machine center. Let me show that to you real quick, and then I've got actually I left one thing out here. There should be a number 11. I'm going to add an 11 that you don't see. Okay, I'm going to go back. So if I go to the capacity view here, I can do moves here, but you'll see the arrow. Can you tell that arrow? It's pretty small on the screen. The arrow is now 4 directions. So let's take something here that's assigned to Mike Siemens, and if I want to move this down and assign this to Brian Walton, I can, the operation started. You want to move? Yes, I will move that there anyway. So it allows me to basically reassign work. So this is, I know Mike's going to be out on vacation or something, and I want to reassign this particular task. And down here to, let's say, to Linda, have her pick that up, and it lets me drag and drop that information in. Again, they go red to indicate that you do need to save that change, because as of right now, your base application doesn't know about those changes. We're in a what if mode. Okay, what if I move this here? What if I move there? But once you save it, okay, save, and now that information has been updated to your nav and Business Central products. Okay, pretty easy to do. Okay, so the difference here is it's when you're in this capacity mode that you get the 4 directional. So you can move it right and left in the timeline. You can move it up and down to assign tasks to other resources. Okay, pretty good. Number 10, and I've got an 11 that I want to show you that I don't even have on my list here. So let's first talk about 10, which is print the schedule. So often customers want to send you some information, or you want to post it on the wall, or you want to have a big, maybe just a big monitor out there with the information, but you want to send to your customers as a PDF the information about a particular schedule. So that's pretty simple. So there is, of course, at the top here, a print preview and a print. So the print preview, and I'm not going to filter this, I just want you to see the concept here, print preview, and here it generates all the pages. This was a fairly large schedule because I printed everything, but you could put this on a plotter, make them real big pages if you wanted to, and print these out, send this to your customer, or certainly you could filter it down. There are filtering options there to filter this and get it down to a smaller size. So I just wanted you to be aware that the print option is available. Now there's one other, the number 11, that I thought I had on the list, but I don't, and I'm not going to take the time to type it in. I'm going to go back to car production here, and I'm just going to pick one of these. I'm going to right click here, and what I want you to see is this option right here, show item availability by BOM level. I can't tell you the number of times I've had people ask about item availability. Can I start on this operation? Do I have the materials that I need to start on this operation? So we basically explode the bill of material. Let me see how this, show you how this works. So I'm going to expand this, and of course I picked one that didn't have much of a bill. Let me go to another one here. Let's see, let's try one of these, or this ought to do it. Okay, so let me explode this one. Yeah, that's my bicycle, and I'll expand all. There we go. Look at this. This is a very nice graphical view. Let me zoom in a little bit here. I'm just using the wheel on my mouse and the control. And so I can see, here's the bicycle, here's the components of the bicycle, and the reds are indications of problems. If there's no red in the box, that means I have my chain, I have my rim, and so forth. So I'm in good shape on those items. Notice too, this is the whole indented. I've got a whole indented bill of materials here. So the front wheel's made up of a rim and spokes. You can see it shows that down here. And then if I scroll down a little bit, I think you can see it. Then this front hub is made up of the axle front wheel, and if I scroll down a little bit more, the socket front. Again, all these products are in stock, so no alerts on those. Is there any alerts? Where's my alerts? Oh, here. Okay, able to make top item. It's got some reds there. Again, I'm going to ask you to call me on these things and let's discuss this, but this is all to be able to give you alerts when you've got some bottlenecks or where you've got shortages of material in your bill of material, and it puts this in this very nice kind of exploded, I don't know what you'd call this view, but it's a view that lets you see the structure, kind of the structure of that bill of materials. Okay, so to see if I had anything else. That was number 11, which I didn't have in here, but I wanted to show you that as well. Okay, so that's kind of a fairly quick overview of some of the key functionality within the software. Hopefully something there kind of caught your interest and you said, ooh, I'd like to know more about that. What you need to do is just call us and ask for a demonstration in detail, or ask us any particular questions. If there was something here that wasn't clear to you and you want to see it in a little more detail, I'd love to show that to you. I'm going to put my phone number up on the screen so you know how to contact us, and we would just very much love to talk to you about this product or any other questions you might have on your Dynamics, Microsoft Dynamics. Now it's 365 Business Central product, and this will work this version and many past versions as well. So call us if you're a little concerned about what version your software might work. Just call and let's have that discussion. Thanks so much. Have a great day.